My name is Michael Franzese. Many of you seeing this video know who I am. Fortune magazine, 1986, 50 biggest and most powerful mob bosses in the country. I was number 18, 5 behind Gotti at the time, the youngest guy on the list. Today, some 25 years later, out of that list of 50, 44 of them are dead. I've had the privilege to visit your church over the past several years, meet a lot of you personally, speak to a lot of your congregants and members of the church. For those of you that don't know me, I was a made member in the Colombo crime family, took an oath in 1975 and became a soldier, a captain in a major mafia family in New York.
My father didn't want me to be a mobster. He wanted me to be a doctor. When Dad was sentenced to 50 years in prison, I knew he would die in jail if I didn't help him out. He asked me one question: if you ever had to kill somebody, could you do it? And that's how the mob life started for me. I love my father, and if becoming a made man would help him get out of prison, I wouldn't hesitate.
I spent 20 years in that life. At one point in time, I was appointed the position of capo regime. They were grooming me to be the boss. And in 1984, I believe God made a dramatic change in my life. I met a young woman on a movie set, a young dancer, who was a very strong person of faith, a lover of Jesus Christ, who had a mother that was the most godly woman I ever met in my life. And through these two women, God saved my life, transformed my heart and my mind, and brought me to where I am today.
Who's that girl?
I saw her step out of that pool and she just blew me away. I mean, she was hot.
I just looked at him and I said, you know, someday you're gonna marry me. I know that. I said, you love me. He turned around and he said, yeah, I think you're right.
Michael Franzese is not the first member of his father's crime family to go into the motion picture business.
Organized crime as its own handsome young prince.
He says he doesn't have $14 million.
He doesn't. He has about 50 million.
It would seem that Michael Franzese is unfortunately following the footsteps of his father.
You are the youngest, richest mafia don in the United States. It's absolutely untrue.
You know, oftentimes people find it difficult to ask a non-believer to come to church to hear a church message. But my experience over the years is that these same people could ask one of their non-believing friends to come to church to hear a mob story, because there is the reality of that life. It is still very intriguing to people. It gets them in the door, and once they're there, they're going to hear about Jesus and how His grace and forgiveness saved a guy like me who was so far from His grace at some point in time that only God could have done what He's done in my life.
When I first walked away, it was extremely difficult for me. I mean, I felt like I betrayed my father. I betrayed my life.
If you leave the mob and you're not in the witness protection program, there's a very high likelihood you will not survive.
Franzese has yet to testify against any mafia boss, and he hasn't paid a dime.
By the time I was 34 years old, I had been arrested and went to trial 4 times. They even arrested Cammy to try to squeeze me, and that was devastating. I can honestly say that was the absolute worst night of my life.
This might help you out.
This time, I really believed that I was going to lose everything. My mother-in-law started to get to me a little bit. She says, you know, you're a sinner. There's forgiveness at the foot of the cross. I came to realize that Jesus was truly a man's man, and He inspired me to turn my life around. But it was a real challenge for me to change not only my mind, but my heart, from that of a made man to that of a real man. It didn't happen overnight. My name is Michael Franzese, and this is my story. If God can forgive me, a former mobster, and give me my life, my freedom, a wife that I adore, children that I love, then He can and He will do it for anyone.
For all you pastors and ministry leaders out there, if you want your people to see the redemptive grace qualities of Jesus Christ, I think this is a movie for them. I don't compromise, I don't hold back on the message, and I guarantee that people will be encouraged when they see what the Lord has done in my life. We encourage you to visit our website, to speak to our people that are arranging for group sales and group tickets. We think it'll be a sensational night, a great outreach for all of your congregants. We know you're going to enjoy it. The film was very well produced and the message is very powerful, and I think it'll be a life-changing message for many of you that come and see the film. So thank you all in advance for coming. God bless.